After what feels like forever, we're finally approaching the deadline for game week 22. And look, that means that we need to really start considering whether good moves, bad moves, hold moves, sell moves, buy moves are on the agenda or not. So that's where I come in. I've got you covered today with my top transfer tips for game week 22. Yes, I'm bringing this back as the standalone video rather. I was going to meld it into the team selection, but I've got something special prepared for that tomorrow. The late mail's back tomorrow night as well. That's going to be back to normal time. Well, not normal time, because normally this won't be the normal time. We're going back till 5 o'clock UK time tomorrow for the late mail. So make sure you tune in for that slightly later because of the fact I'm on holidays and I can do it at 5 p.m. UK time. With that being said, if you're enjoying the content, please smash a like on the video. Leave us a comment with any moves you're making this week and what you think of a wildcard draft that I put together, what I believe potentially is the best assets you can have. And I've got over 4 million left in the bank when I put that together as well. So yeah, if you're enjoying all that as well and you haven't already smashed the sub button, please consider doing so. And with that being said, ladies and gents, let's get into it. So here we go. Look, we've got the transfer tips, your questions that you've sent in to me. And look, some of these have been in the WhatsApp group. Others I've just picked up off X and other people's conversations and stuff like that. And I just thought I'd have my say on some of these questions. So why not? Now, Wilson, is he really that good? And can he keep it going? Now, I thought, ironically, when I bought him, I was like, this is the last good week we're probably going to see. 16 points, which is the week I bought him. I got 16 off him. And that's when all the players went away to AFCON. Now, he has not slowed up one iota. He's actually been so good to the point now where he got through the Chelsea fixture, he got through the Liverpool fixture, and he scored them both. And I'm like, he's a season keeper. Unless he gets injured, unless he gets sold in January, which I think is very highly unlikely. The reason why I think he's a season-long keeper now is the dude is out of contract. So he's either going to be playing for a move in the summer, like to suitors, or paying for the bumper payday that he would get at the age of 28. So, no, he's a brilliant buy. I actually think he's the best midfielder to buy this week. Yeah, I know. Hard to believe. Fulham player, right at the top of my recommendations. Believe it or not, it is a Fulham player, and it is Harry Wilson. Now, it's 32 point on the hold or even a buy this week. Now, so I put this in here because I know that people love winding me up. And look, if you're silly enough to buy a 32 point dom in the first place, if I'm being brutally honest, and I had him in my team, I feel like I would want to hold for Burnley. But now with Connor Bradley going down injured, there's half a chance he's going to end up at right back. So unless you really want a maximum 5 points from him, and that's counting the fact that they might keep a clean sheet, no guarantee they will, that he doesn't get yellow carded, and that he might somehow get the DC potential from right back, which is the only time he's got it this season when he's played right back. But if he doesn't play there, are you really going to get anything more than 2 points? You could get 3 if you're lucky, I suppose, with a clean sheet. To be honest with you, I think he's still a sell. I think he's definitely not a buy, and I don't think I'd even be holding him, but I don't own him. So that's, yeah, I'm in a very envious position. Now, another question. I've got Jow and Newcastle can't defend. What to do? Sell him. Straight up. Like, Newcastle have not kept the clean sheet away from home. I can't remember if they played Nottingham Forest at home or away from home. It might even be before then. Their last clean sheet away from home might actually be before game week 7. Are they going to keep a clean sheet at Wolves? Based on what Wolves have been producing the last few weeks, I'd say probably not. Yeah, I just think he's a sell. I don't think any Newcastle defender's worth buying or holding, or they are just all sells as far as I'm concerned. That team cannot defend to save their lives at the moment. Is it worth selling City defenders with all their injuries? This is an interesting one. Now, I've got Nico O'Reilly myself, and he has been fairly widely sold this week in general. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but it's a hard one. The other night in the Carabao Cup, he played in centre midfield. I was like, what? I don't know what to make of it. I think O'Reilly's a problem. I feel like Man City aren't going to keep as many clean sheets, but they've kept 8 or 9 this season. And I wouldn't say they've been overly good defensively, but they've still somehow got these clean sheets. And yes, some of them have been relatively lucky, it has to be said. But I don't know. I feel like Manchester United, I don't know what kind of performance they're going to put in on the weekend. It is the early kickoff. I think this week you probably hold through Wolves, and then work out where the lay of the land is. Have they made a defensive signing? Are they going to be playing Allian there every week? I don't know. But these are all things that need to be worth. So if you've got other defenders you'd like to buy, if you've got free transfers this week and want to get a double Arsenal defender, I don't blame you at all. That's simply something I'm looking at for a hit. So yeah, I can get on board with that. Where should you be looking to spend your money? Now, this is an interesting point. Now, as we've seen all season, forward line outside of Haaland has not been worth the investment. I mean, Thiago's the next best clear, and then it's Jarrod Bowen. Like, it's just not worth paying up for those expensive Uber premium forwards like a Watkins and Ekitike. They're not justifying the price tag week to week, and they're also rotation risk, both of them as well, which is also not helpful. Now, in the terms of midfield, Palmer's not really Palmer is not an option. I'm going to flat out just call it what it is. Palmer is definitely not an option at all, any way, shape or form. Saka, I just think double Arsenal defence is way better than having Saka. And I think Rice is definitely the best midfield you can have from Arsenal. He's definitely the one that will be playing more minutes over the rest of the season, I can tell you that much. Then it's just Bruno Fernandes. And then outside of that, it really drops away. You don't need to spend that much money. So in reality, the actual answer, I believe, is probably in your defence. That's where it seems a lot of the points have been. It's taken me forever to get my head around it, and I still don't like it. Maybe that's why I'm sucking so much this season. It's just because I refuse to play any more than a three-man backline, and every week I'm leaving defender points on the bench. Maybe that's half my issue. It probably is my issue, but call me stubborn. I like playing the game my own way. Who's the best asset to buy in game week 22? I'm going to go out here on a limb and say it's Gabriel, followed by Harry Wilson. Harry Wilson almost beat him, but I think that Gabriel's just a no-brainer. I mean, I know Nottingham Forest are actually fairly decent at defending set pieces, but they've been pretty bang ordinary in general, and I can't really see them scoring. So for that reason, I'm going to have to go with Gabriel. And also, the way that Nottingham Forest play, he's going to rack up that DC on the weekend 100%, because Forest just love pumping the ball in the box, and it's easy-headed clearances for the likes of Gabriel and probably Saliba this weekend. Which is the best one-week pump based on the fixtures? Based on the fixtures this week, you'd have to say it's Harvey Barnes for Newcastle, if you're just after a one-week play, I reckon. Or you're looking at Ekitike or a Wirtz or a Cody Gakpo from Liverpool. Maybe even a Jeremy Frimpong. What to make of Chelsea and United under the new manager? Good bloody question is the answer to that. I was unimpressed with the way that Chelsea tried playing out from the back the other night, to the point where I'm like looking at my double Chelsea defence thinking when Maresca was there, this looked brilliant. Now with Liam Rosenior there, I'm like, this might be an absolute disaster. How do I get out of it? Like, I think he'll realise very quickly this is not the year to be playing out from the back. Players and teams are playing Route 1 football. It's direct, it's set-piece FC, it's et cetera, et cetera. And for that reason, I just don't think... I think he's going to learn pretty quickly, but there's no guarantee that he will learn quickly. That's where I think I'm going with that. And in terms of Man United, honestly, there's no trophies on offer. And every time that's been the case over the last 10 years, we've sucked the second half of the season. So outside of Bruno Fernandes, I'd have no interest in any Man United assets. And I know there are some nice ones, but they just can't be trusted, unfortunately. So this week, we are sponsored by Footium, and look, this is your chance to win an FPL D-Unit shirt with your custom name and number on the back, and all you need to do is try and play the game for free. So to do that, you need to use the barcode that's furthest away from me, that direction all the way over there. That's the one you need to hit up first. You need to go there. All you need is an email. It doesn't send you anything. You just get an email, you get a code, and you can play for the season. I give you a club, 22 players, and all you need to do then is self-manage your team and join the mini league, which is where it says on the right here, just above, right next to me. To enter the competition, you'll win a fully owned club in Footium, but more importantly, you'll earn or win your custom FPL D-Unit shirt sent right to your door, courtesy of myself. So if ever there was a chance, mid-season giveaway, this is it. Get involved. It doesn't cost you a single cent, pound, dime, whatever currency you've got. All you need to do is sign up and then join the mini league. And then look, I tell you what, if you can beat me as well, I'll even send you out a mug. How good's that? But my team's South Park, and I'm expecting to win the league. But you never know. You might I might get unlucky. You might beat me. But yes, there you go. That's all you need to do. Shout out to Footium. It's a great game. I've been playing it for 3 seasons long now, and I have marched up from Division 8 to Division 7 last year with 22 games, 22 wins, 100 goal difference. So the pressure is down. Can you guys rise to the challenge? Can you beat the D-Unit? I don't know. I reckon I might be not having a good FPL season, but I'm having a damn good Footium one, that's for sure. So on to the defensive transfers in this week. And look, a lot of these players, for once, actually make a fair amount of sense to me. Gabriel, as you would predict, the number 1 defensive transfer, and he's probably going to rise in price again before the deadline, or maybe on the day of the deadline, up to 6.8. Here's a no-brainer. He needs to be in everyone's teams. He's just that good. He might actually be the best FPL asset in the game. He's only 0.2 points per game behind Haaland, and he's obviously played way less games. So Gabriel's been elite this season. There's no ifs, buts, maybes. He just is. Mukiele, he is definitely the best cheap defender to own and definitely the best Sunderland defender to own. He has so many avenues to points. So when he does play in the middle of the defence, he normally always racks up the DC. But when he's playing it right back, he gets forward a hell of a lot. And he's got quite a few assists. Well, he's got a few assists this season. From that and crossing the ball in, he won't be at Sunderland next year. He's that good of a player, and he's brilliant. So for 4.4 mil, I can't believe I got him at 4. He's been so good in my team, and he's going to be one of them ones that stays probably the entire season. Collins, I don't mind this one, but not really for this week. I don't think Chelsea away is the best fixture to be buying Collins for. And to be honest, if you look at Brentford's games over the next 6 weeks, the clean sheets potential is not really there. Their attackers, 100% I can get on board with. In terms of their defenders, though, Collins, he's not going to be getting any of them. Well, I say that now, but he might. But I don't think he's going to be getting those massive holes. But for a long-term hold, he's great value. And look, I started with him for a reason, because I thought he'd be great. It's just, alas, I didn't own him for when he has been great. Julian Timber, as I said, I think the 3 best Arsenal assets are Gabriel, Timber, and Rice. Not a surprise he's up to number 4. Ironically, he's down to number 7 for most sold. Now, the only fear I can think of is that people have still got Raya in goal, or they've got double Arsenal attack. If you've got Raya in goal, it's worth a hit to get rid of Raya and buy Timber, as far as I'm concerned. There's far better goalkeepers out there for significantly less money. Even if you've got money invested in Raya, I think it's still worth selling. In terms of Van de Ven, I don't understand this one. Look, yes, West Ham look like an easy fixture, but have you seen Spurs of late? They're just as easy a fixture for West Ham. So I'm expecting both teams to score. I don't think either team can defend very well, and I don't think Van de Ven's a very good buy. I hate to say it, Spurs fans. I honestly don't know who's going to be sacked first out of Nuno and Frank, but I tell you what, it's going to be a close run race. Gahey, I don't mind, but I think if I was buying a Crystal Palace defender, we'll have a look at my top 5 defenders to buy later on, and I've got a special segment for that now. He's not in there. I don't think he is in the top 5 defenders to buy. So for that reason, I think buying Palace assets is definitely worth it. But in fairness, I'd be waiting to hear about Munoz, and I'd be going straight back to Munoz, or I'd be going Lacroix. That's just my honest opinion. Matty Cash, I don't mind. If you're after an Aston Villa coverage, he's probably the best one by some distance. They don't rack up the DC there, so you're really getting Matty Cash for the attacking output. In terms of the most sold players, not a surprise that Vardiol and Ruben Dias are leading the way. They're both out injured. They're both going to be out injured for a long time, especially in Vardiol's case. Ruben Dias is probably more like 6 weeks. That's still a significant amount of time. And Keane, who's obviously suspended for the next 3 after pulling old mate's hair in that game against Wolves. So easy sells to a lot of them. I'm not surprised that they're the 3 most sold. Nico Riley, I'm not surprised he's there either. He's been underwhelming of late. Obviously getting benched and taken off early. It's not good. It's not good. And to be honest with you, I really wanted to start him this week, but I don't know whether he's going to start. I don't know if he's going to last 60 minutes. Too many unknowns. And for that reason, if you've got unknowns about a player, it's normally a sign that they need to be sold, and I don't mind that sell at all. Kukurea, ironically, he's not red flagged, but he got sent off last week for pulling back Harry Wilson, and he played in the Carabao Cup. It was only a 1-game ban, was it? I was like, hold on, how did that work? That's right. He missed the FA Cup, didn't he? That explains it, because it's like, why is he not red flagged? That's why. There you go. I've just taught myself something. Chalobah, I don't understand. Of all the people, everyone's raving about the Chelsea fixtures. How are people selling him before those Chelsea fixtures? He's the only bloke that's guaranteed to start every week. I don't understand. Like, he literally plays 90 minutes every single game for Chelsea. And outside of old mate Santos getting himself sent off earlier in the season by paying him back a hospital pass, Chalobah's like a no-brainer. He's like the one, of all the Chelsea assets, he's the one you should be buying, not selling. I don't understand that one. So one of the top midfield transfers in, and look, Bruno G edges out Harry Wilson. Now, I was shocked by this, legitimately shocked. I understand that Bruno G obviously got the 12 point or the 13 point or whatever it was. He got a big haul right in the last game. But Harry Wilson did as well. He got 9 points. And they're both amazingly informed. In fact, if you look at the top 4 players in particular, Bruno G, Wilson, Rice, Semenyo, all in amazing form, all in goal-scoring form, all getting consistent returns. What's not to like about all of them? And this is the thing. Like, you don't need to be spending money up in midfield. Bruno G, Wilson, Rice, Semenyo average out at about 7 million apiece. 4 sevens are 28 million in your midfield from 4 players, let alone the 5th. And if you add Bruno Fernandes in, that's 33 million for your 5 midfielders. Like, that's barely any of your budget. Like, it's amazing like how good the options are this season that aren't premiums. These are the new premiums. They literally are. Bruno G's just been consistent, and to be honest, the minutes are that's why he's the best Newcastle asset, because of the minutes. He always plays, and he seems to be inevitable at the moment. People will say it's lucky. Some players each season are just lucky. It doesn't matter which way you slice it, you dice it, whatever. A bit like Salah last year getting all them penalties, and this year Liverpool get none. Like, you've got to put that down to luck more than anything else. And yes, Bruno G has been a very lucky pick so far, but he's delivering the goods. And until he stops delivering the goods, he's not a bad pick. So I quite like him. Harry Wilson, the best midfielder under 6 million by some significant distance. He is brilliant. There's no ifs, buts, or maybes. I still can't believe I managed to stumble across him, and I've got the WhatsApp group to thank for that. So if you want some good advice, maybe don't listen to me. Join the WhatsApp group and listen to everyone else. Declan Rice, he's definitely a no-brainer as well. He's just so consistent. Another assist in the Carabao Cup again from the corner. He's just elite. His set-piece delivery is unbelievably good, and he's just so good. He always gets some sort of return. I think there's only been 1 week in the last 2 weeks in like the last 10 where he's not got anything more than 3 points. It's mad. Semenyo, honestly, I thought he would be a problem. I don't think he is the problem. I think he's going to get all the minutes at Man City, and I think he's going to be brilliant. Now, he might directly impact on Haaland's ability to score points. That's a story for another day, but I think now, based off what I've seen in the first 2 games, I think Semenyo is going to be playing a lot of minutes for Man City. It's going to be the others that are going to be missing out. Bruno Fernandes, I don't think this is the week to be buying him. I understand a lot of people might be selling Cunha, who's the 3rd most sold, and I've sold Cunha myself this week. I sold him for Bruno G, though. I understand it, going from Cunha to Fernandes. I would never have got Cunha if Fernandes had never got injured. So I don't mind that move. But for Man City at home and Arsenal away, it ain't the weeks to be buying Bruno Fernandes. I just don't think they're going to be getting much out of those 2 games. That's just my personal opinion. Morgan Rogers, ironically, the 6th most transferred in and the 7th most transferred out. That in itself is quite interesting when you think about it. And I think it's because of the fact that Morgan Rogers is one of them players you just got to hold and play every week. Now, against the hard teams, he normally doesn't do anything. But against the easier ones, he normally can go quite big. So for that reason, you've just got to hold him. If you're going to own Morgan Rogers, you just hold him. And then the weeks where the fixtures doesn't look overly good, bench him. And then play him every other week, because that's when the points will come. I think you can easily spot him. I'd be playing Morgan Rogers this week. I don't mind him. I wouldn't be selling him this week. I can tell you that much. And Verts, 1 week punt. Enzo Fernandez was right up his ass. It might overtake him between now and the deadline. But Verts against Burnley is far better than Enzo against Brentford. It's a bit of a no-brainer, that one. I'd be going Verts if I was to make either of those transfers this week. In terms of the long term, I don't think I'd be going for a Chelsea player just yet. I'd be waiting a few more game weeks to figure out what the hell's going on there first. In terms of the most transferred out, not a surprise that Foden is leading the way. He's got 5 or 6 blanks in a row now. He is even on the chopping block for me, and I'm the biggest advocate of my boy Phil Foden. But he's got this week and next week to prove he's not a flash in the pan, otherwise he's going to be out the door. Semenyo, I'm surprised. As I said, I think people have maybe jumping the gun based on what we've seen since the last Premier League game, him joining City and what's happened since. I don't think I'll be selling him. At the moment, I wouldn't be selling him. Cunha, 100% sell. He's been rubbish. I think he might lose his spot with Ahmad and Mbumo back because he's been poor. Cherki, he's definitely the one very much at risk, along with Doku, with Semenyo joining the team. So for that reason, Cherki needs to be monitored. He might start this weekend, he might not. But in fairness, if he starts on the bench, Man United concede most of their goals in the last 15 minutes. If he comes on for the last 15 minutes, he's probably going to be fine anyway. Kudos, he's obviously going to be out for a while. He definitely needs to be sold. Saka, again, Rice is definitely the best Arsenal midfielder. I don't care which way you put it. The stats don't lie. The price doesn't lie. And I think double Arsenal defence is the way to go. So I understand why people are selling Saka. So on to the forward transfers then. And Thiago and the DCL unit, they are leading the way. I mean, Thiago's been in the form of his life this season, up to 120 points now. The DCL unit almost overtook Bowen to be the third top scoring forward in the last game week. So look, Bowen's on notice, it has to be said, but he's been great. And as long as he continues to embody the spirit of the D unit, he is going to continue to be a very good FPL asset. Ollie Watkins is in at number 3, and this is where the rest don't make much sense. Watkins, Ekatike, Voltamata, I don't think I'll be buying any of them. Just frankly, I don't think they're worth the money. With Watkins and Ekatike and Voltamata, they're all at risk of rotation as well. And like their minutes are at risk. That's my problem of all three of those players. So for me, I have no interest in buying any of them. And Voltamata really doesn't make much sense to me. I feel like this is the far better asset. I'm surprised he's not in the position of Voltamata, because for me, if I was buying this week, I'd be buying Visser over Voltamata. That's just my opinion. In terms of Creepy Jr. and Mane, you know my thoughts on cheaper forwards. I've got no interest in owning Mane. I understand why people want him, but you've got to look at yourselves and ask, why am I investing in a team that's 20th in the Premier League? That's all I'll say. 20th in the Premier League. That's where Wolves are, and you're investing in them. Yeah, I understand what people are going to say. You've invested in Jared Bowen and they're 18th. Fully take that on board. But he's 100% nailed. And if there's ever a talisman for West Ham, it's Jared Bowen. Mane is just a flash in the pan. That's just my opinion. Creepy Jr., I am open to Creepy Jr. I think he could be actually a very good asset. I want to see more minutes, though, from him now that Semenyo's gone. I think he will start almost every single game, so that's really good news. But outside of that, has he got the consistency when he starts? A lot of his goals have come off the bench this season. So that's going to be something to monitor over the next few weeks. In terms of the most transferred out, Ekatike makes a lot of sense. I mean, I sold him the week before for Thiago because I was like, I'm really only holding him for the Burnley game. That's it. He could go really big against Burnley, and I appreciate that. And I think if you waited until after that game, like the last game week, I would have held him for this week. So I'm a little shocked that he's the most transferred out with Burnley at home. Voltamata, not a surprise. As I said, the biggest shock is that he's actually in the most transferred in the top 7. Jared Bowen, people are forgetting he's the third top scoring forward in the game. He's literally, he's done this from a team that's 18th in the league. He's an elite player. And he's got Spurs. And Spurs are just as bad as West Ham. You only have to look at the table to figure that one out. So for me, I think Jared Bowen's perfectly fine. I would not be selling him. I actually think if you've got any combination of these 5 forwards, Haaland, DCL unit, Thiago, Bowen, and say Mateta probably, or Creepy Jr., I wouldn't be touching your forwards. Just if they've got a good week, play them. If they don't, bench them. That's simple. I feel like they're just wasting transfers at this point, just based on the way that they've been performing across the season. Voltamata makes sense selling. Watkins, again, you just don't know if he's going to start or he's going to be benched. And there's rumours that Aston Villa are going to be buying a forward as well. That's not going to be helpful either. The Pigeon had his wings clipped. He's an easy sell. In terms of João Pedro and Mateta, I think I'd just be holding them, to be honest. I think Mateta will be much better with Munoz and Sarr back in the team. João Pedro, with the easy fixtures coming up, surely he's going to get some minutes there and surely he's going to get some sort of returns. But then again, he's one of those players that's just infuriating. It's hard to believe he's still owned by a quarter of teams in FPL. That's just an insane stat, really. So one of my top 5 defenders to buy this week. And look, this is a new segment. People sit there. I'm someone that does not sit on the fence. And I'll happily own decisions if they go wrong, if they go poorly. But in terms of the top 5 to buy this week, in this order, Gabriel is definitely the best defender to buy. If you haven't got him, go and buy him. Take a -4. Take whatever you need to get him in. He is worth it. Julian Timber comes in next at number 2. As I said, I think double Arsenal defence is definitely the way. Those two are definitely the two that you want in your teams. Then it's Lacroix. I've got Lacroix in at number 3. I really like the potential for the next 6 weeks, particularly for Crystal Palace in terms of keeping clean sheets. And he's just going to consistently roll over the DC as well. And that equals points. And I just think that he's the Palace defender outside of Munoz. If Munoz is declared fit, he'd be in that spot there. Lacroix will be 4 and Mukiele will be 5th. But we don't know if he's fit yet, because it hasn't made a press conference yet. So I'm going with Lacroix there. Mukiele, by far and away, with the fixtures coming up for Sunderland, and just the fact he's so damn cheap, still, 4.4 is still very cheap. I just think he's a no-brainer. He's been so good. You don't have to worry about it. He's just got so many ways of returning. Assists, DC, clean sheets. I love him. And then Chalobah. Of all the Chelsea players, he is the one that is the most nailed in that team. I can't see that changing. He seems to be a fitness machine. He's not only when Chelsea have been conceding of late, he's still been racking up the DC and getting either 3 or 4 points every week. So look, he's been great. He's going to get more attacking returns because of the way that he attacks the ball and the way that Chelsea play their free kicks and their corners in particular. A no-brainer. And then others that you are stiff to miss out. Gahey is stiff to miss out, to be honest. But I just don't think he's as good as any of those 5. Tarkowski as well. It's a hard fixture against Aston Villa. It's not the week to be buying him. Saliba, you could argue, might be higher up. And Collins, I do think he's really good. I just don't think that he's worthy of being in the top 5 this particular game week. So on to the forwards to buy this week. And look, we've got the DCL unit in at number 1, 6 million. He's just so good, isn't he? He's absolutely so good. He's been in the form of his life. He's now up to the 4th top scoring forward in the game. I love him. And look, to be honest, if I had free transfers lying around, I probably would do the DCL unit in for Jared Bowen. Like, there you go. I've got it in writing. You can quote that back to me. The dude's been on fire. Ever since I blessed him with my finishing ability, he's been unstoppable. In terms of Thiago, he's a no-brainer. He's by far and away the 2nd best forward in the game. I wouldn't even be worried about selling him. He's going to return in these games regardless. He probably will return against Chelsea. Brentford actually have a pretty good record against Chelsea. So that's going to be interesting. I think Thiago is going to be very good, and I think he's a season keep. Jared Bowen, I've still got as the 3rd top forward to buy. And look, this is obviously accounting for the fact that everyone owns Haaland. He's 74% owned. If you haven't got Haaland by now, you're probably not buying him this season, because otherwise you'd have him. All right. So that's why he's not on this list. I just thought I'd share that one then. I've got Mateta coming in at 4th. I do really expect Crystal Palace over the next 6 weeks to turn around. Yes, I know they're in Europe and they have been looking buggered, but they have had a rest this week. And they're getting players back, and hopefully that means there is a signs of life for Mateta and Crystal Palace in terms of their attacking output, and he could definitely be back on the radar. And then Ollie Watkins, the best of a bad bunch, to be honest, coming in at number 5. It was literally a roll the dice and see who finished number 5, to be honest, and he happened to finish number 5. Visser, Ekatike, Creepy Jr., Evan Nilsson, they are all players that you could argue could have been in here this week, but alas, that they are not. So on to a wildcard draft for game week 22. I've just realised, sorry, we've got to go back really quickly. I've just realised I've accidentally missed the 5 midfielders. Sorry, the top 5 midfielders to buy this week. Look at that. The one-take video. Sometimes I accidentally press the wrong button and we have to go back. So here we are. Wilson, he's by far and away the best midfielder to buy for me this week. 5.9 million. He's a season keeper. The best midfielder under 6 million. I'll hands down say it. If he does not top score out of every midfielder that's currently under 6 million between now and the end of the season, I've read it wrong. But I don't think I've read it wrong. The analytics mob don't like him. Why? He has got no penalty share, but this dude is elite. He is literally finishing from ridiculous. Just go back and watch some of his assists the last 6 weeks. He's literally playing in the form of his life. There's a reason why he's returning. The dude is inevitable at the moment. You need to hop on the Harry Wilson train. It's already left the station, but there's still a chance to quickly catch up to it if you don't completely miss the plot. Rice is definitely the best Arsenal midfielder to buy, and he is the one you want. If you're not going triple Arsenal defence, he's the one. Declan Rice in, ladies and gentlemen. Aronson actually comes in at number 3. I really like what he is producing, and he has been super consistent the last 6 to 8 game weeks for Leeds, and the fixtures for Leeds as well are pretty good. Now, I expect both teams, Wilson and Aronson, probably to be in the returns this week. I don't think either defence is going to be keeping clean sheets in this particular game, and I think it could be quite high scoring, and I think both of these two return, which is why he's in at number 3. He's not going to get talked about because, again, he's not on penalty share. The analytics mob don't like him, but I think he's a great pick, and he comes in at number 3 this week. Bruno G beats out the other Bruno in Bruno Fernandes this week, just based on the fixture. Wolves away is by far and away a much better fixture than Man City at home, I can tell you that much. Either of them, I mean, if you had a midfield and just consisted of these 5 blokes, I think you'd be a pretty bloody happy man, to be honest, or a happy lady for all the ladies out there as well. Others that were stiff to miss out, Rodgers, Gakpo, Sade, Semenyo. They are players, you can make a case for. I just think if you're looking at it, though, this particular week, it's those 5. It's got to be those 5 in that order. I just don't see a world where anyone else is better than those 5 or better than Harry Wilson this week. He's just been so good. I'm expecting big things, Harry. Don't let the D-Unit down. So on to that wildcard draft then for anyone that is wildcarding in game week 22. And this is what I've got, right? So, look, I will be open and honest. If Munoz was fit, Lacroix would be Munoz because I've got so much money left in the bank here. In fact, I've got a squad value of 107.3 million, I think now. I literally had almost 4 million left in the bank when I put this together. So Gabriel, for me, and Jurrien Timber, they are definitely the best Arsenal defensive combination you can get. They're in against Nottingham Forest away in a 3-man defence. Declan Rice is obviously in there as the third Arsenal asset. In terms of the other players, so on the bench, we've got Mukiele, who's just the set and forget, no-brainer defender. Now, you could get, with the money I've obviously had available in my team, you could get someone high. Like, you could get like a Kukare, you could get someone else with a good run of fixtures coming up. You can even go triple Palace defence. Like, you could spend up on that 4.4 spot if you had a team value that was mine. But I just figured a lot of other teams are not quite as well off as me. So I thought I'd just base it off this. So Mukiele, I really like him. Chalobah as well. Of all the Chelsea assets, like I looked in the midfield, and I don't think any Chelsea midfielder is better than the current 5 I've got in there. So that's why there's no Chelsea midfielder or attack, because I just don't rate them, and I don't know how many minutes they're going to go. I don't know the way Liam Rossana, or whatever his name is going to play, but Chalobah's nailed, and I just think he's a no-brainer. He's so good for a lot of different things, and I quite like him. Also, you could have Tarkowski there instead of Mukiele as well if you wanted. In terms of the forward line, it was Haaland, Thiago, and then it's just a matter of who you prefer in that third spot. Now, for me, I've gone with the DCL unit because the dude is just unbelievably informed. Now, his form patch might be about to end, and maybe Jared Bowen is the better pick. So I've just got Jared Bowen in my team, and I am kind of biased by Jared Bowen a little bit because obviously the missus, she supports West Ham, so he's my favourite player from West Ham. And I've got happy memories of Jared Bowen delivering me a lot of points over the last 5 years or so, or whatever as well. But West Ham do need to turn it around. Now, if they do start turning around, I think Jared Bowen will be the best third forward. I still believe Jared Bowen finishes in the top 3 forwards this season, along with Thiago, along with Haaland. It'll be interesting to see if that plays out correctly in the second half of the season. But to this point in the season, that's exactly the way it is. But at this moment in time, you've got to admit DCL unit is the man in form. So why not go with the man in form if you're on wildcard? It makes a lot of sense, right? And the midfield, Bruno Fernandes, of all the United players, he's the only one that's worth looking at, period, for the rest of the season. He's back in the number 10 position, which means the DC points are going to disappear. But the attacking returns, if they're going to score goals, Bruno's going to be involved. You can almost put your house on it. Harry Wilson, no brainer. I said the best midfielder under 6 million. He has to be in any wildcard draft for me. He's just I know that so many other content creators don't rate him. I love him. I think he's unbelievably good. And yes, it has changed my opinion of Fulham. For Colm and anyone else that's a Fulham fan, I'm coming round to the Fulham train. They're pretty good. With Harry Wilson leading the charge, they're a pretty good team. Bruno G's in there just because of the fact he has been so consistent now. He could be anyone, really. But I've gone with Bruno G just because of the fact that I think that, Wolves is a nice fixture, particularly if you're wild carding, but he has been ultra consistent. And you've got back players that have been ultra consistent, I think, this season. We've got to go away from this, oh, they cost a lot of money, they must be good. They're not actually this season. The more money they cost, generally the worse they've been. In terms of Rice, he's definitely the no-brainer. If you wanted to go triple Arsenal defence, I suppose I could get around that. And you could get like a Morgan Rogers, someone else in there. But, yeah. And I think Semenyo, he might actually be the City midfielder. He might actually be a season keep, you know. He really might be. So, yeah, that's what I'd be looking at if I was wildcarding in game week 22. Let me know what you would change. Also, something really important to note here. So, Henderson and Bart Simpson. Now, you're probably wondering why I've gone with those two keepers. Now, Bart Simpson and Henderson rotate perfectly up until game week 35. One of them is always at home, the other one's away. They literally have a home fixture every single week. The only time where they have a rotten combination of fixtures is when I think Crystal Palace play Man City. And I feel like Brighton play a difficult team as well. That's the only week where I was like going, all right, it doesn't really work that week, but you're probably just going to play whoever's at home. But other than that, they work perfectly. So if you want to have a look at a good keeper rotation in terms of who's at home, who's away, Crystal Palace, Brighton work unbelievably well. Maybe something to consider if you're wildcarding in the next few weeks. But that's what I'll be looking at for a wildcard draft in game week 22. Let me know in the comments if you're on wildcard and what you think of that particular draft and whether you can afford it as well. So that brings us to the end of my top transfer tips for game week 22. Hopefully you've enjoyed that. Make sure you sign up to Footium. There's the shirt giveaway. I really want to have as many people in there with a chance of winning as possible, and also the fact that I just want to beat you all really with my team, which is definitely part of the reason why I'm encouraging you all to do it. It is free to play as well. And again, if you've enjoyed that, please smash a like on the video. Leave us a comment. I'll be back very early tomorrow morning. I'm going to be recording my team selection literally straight after I've uploaded this, and then that'll be out tomorrow morning. And then the late mail will be live tomorrow, 5 p.m. Lock that in. The stream will be up. We'll be back and running in business. I'm excited to bring that back as a live show. I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good evening, folks. Thanks for watching. I've been the D-Unit.